moment, my friend.
Welcome to Nothing But Net, episode 6. I'm your host, Taylor Hudson, and I'm with my co-host,
Karl-Heinz Reichert.
And it's Wednesday, November 20th. We're recording this at 8:03 p.m.
Not our usual day that we record.
No. School's been really stressful recently, a lot on our plates.
Yeah, for both of us.
So I've really been doing this paper that's been driving me crazy, but I turned it in earlier this morning, and when I printed it out, I forgot to look at the reference page, and I had one APA citation wrong, and I hope my professor does not give me a 0. But other than that,
oh my God. I had 3 presentations last week. I had an exam today, and I think I had one exam last week as well. Oh, and an essay due. So it's been crazy. It's that time. Like, November is always busy, I think, for pretty much everyone. It's everyone, like, all the professors are trying to get everything, like, all their assignments in, like, trying to, like, catch up on time they missed earlier in the semester. So
the thing that sucks, though, that paper I just had to turn in, that's like my final exam, technically.
Really? Oh, no. Jesus.
I don't understand why she would do that so early. But that's not the point of this podcast. If we want to make an App State rant show, we will. Breaking news coming out of the Premier League. Carl, what do you got for us?
Tottenham Hotspurs have released, or I'm not sure whether he resigned or if he was sacked by Spurs. Okay. So Spurs sacked Mauricio Pochettino and immediately had him lined up. Jose Mourinho came in as new manager, which is very surprising and I'm sure very polarizing for Spurs fans as a whole.
I woke up this morning and I looked, and that was like the headline for soccer. I was looking at BR Football, and like they already had like Mourinho in like Tottenham gear, like on the training pitch, like it's all purple and stuff. It's cool. It's like, wait a minute, they just got rid of Pochettino. I hope I said that right.
Yeah.
Immediately. But I'm here looking at an ESPN article, and it says there's been 39,000 votes, including my own. It says, is Jose Mourinho the right man for Tottenham? It says, yes, he'll bring the glory days back. I don't know what are the glory days for Tottenham?
Dude, I don't know. Adebayor.
Yeah. Gareth Bale.
Yeah.
And the other option was no, it will end in tears. That vote is 27% yes, 73% no. Or no. Are you surprised by that?
No. I don't think anyone wanted to see Mourinho. I'm honestly glad that Spurs got him so that Bayern didn't hire him.
Yeah.
And right now, we'll come back to the Spurs in a moment, but Bayern has only just had their interim head coach or interim manager, just their assistant, like as their head coach for the past like few weeks, and they've been on fire. They've been like tearing it up in the league, and like I think they're back into first place in the league. I'll have to check real quick, but they've been no, they're still in third. They're 4 points behind Borussia Mönchengladbach in first.
Have they lost a game yet this year?
Dortmund? Bayern? Yeah, they lost 2.
But Gladbach.
Gladbach's lost 2. They're 8-1-2. Bayern's 6-3-2. So they're tied with Leipzig at 21. And Freiburg has 21 as well. They're the same. This is crazy. I forgot just how crazy the Bundesliga is. But anyways, so I'm glad that Bayern didn't hire Jose Mourinho, but they've been doing well without him anyways. But back to that, in my opinion, I don't think Jose Mourinho is bad for now. I think he brings a certain mentality and a certain like aura to the team, and I think maybe just the change of scenery. Even though I think Mauricio Pochettino is an amazing manager and will definitely find his feet somewhere, he should be. Like, in the next month, I think he might get scooped up. I wouldn't even be mad if Bayern picked him up. But, I think the first year and a half, will be all right for him with Spurs, and then it'll just go downhill. I feel like Jose Mourinho wears out his welcome very quickly.
James Taylor and multiple people at ESPN, their article is saying that the speed is a surprising part of this whole transaction. It took 11 hours to sack Pochettino and unveil Jose Mourinho as a new manager.
Seems kind of sus.
I don't know what else. I mean, that tells you how like cruel it is in the soccer world. You know, we're talking about early.
They're cutthroat.
Right. back in the Champions League was a couple months ago. I think it was in March, I want to say. No. It's during the summer Champions League finals.
Yeah, I think it's June.
So Spurs go Champions League final.
Yeah,
the Lucas goal, it just literal tears, everybody in Tottenham. Steve Nash running around the BR studios after that happening. And then,
that Ajax team was dirty that they beat. Yeah.
I felt like that team was raw, but that's why you play until the whistle was blown.
The games, yeah.
So you go from Champions League final, runner-up, and obviously Liverpool is a better team, and I think Liverpool is the best team in the world as we speak. But then you look in the Premier League, and they're just underperforming, and the table has them at, I believe, 12 last time I checked. It just tells you how the soccer world just gets flipped upside down.
Yeah, flips.
And I think the Premier League this year, and as you were talking about earlier, the Bundesliga have really been just like it's up for grabs. I mean, besides the Premier League where Liverpool is just taking off, and that leads into one of my questions. Have you thought about the idea of Manchester City's run is over, and are they passing the torch to Liverpool? Because when they played against Liverpool as a 1-3, smashing it home for Liverpool. Do you think that the torch has been patched? Because now, I know it's a little bit of overreaction, but Man City is still in fourth place. Do you think that's kind of what's happening here as City starting to fade off and Liverpool is just full steam ahead?
I think at the end of this season, you'll see it be the end of the Pep Guardiola era in City. I think this might be his last year. And also another manager that if he got sacked, I would not mind him coming back and being Bayern's manager again. But I think I would agree with that statement that it's waning. It's coming to an end. I think they obviously still have the talent and the players. I just think maybe it's time for a new system. They're still an amazing team, and I still expect them to get probably to at least the quarterfinals of the Champions League. Probably end up recovering and being second place in the Premier League. But I don't as City standards go, that's probably the baseline of what they would want. And I think did they win one of the cups, like the Carabao Cup or something?
I think they won it last year, right?
Yes, yeah, that's what it was. So I don't know, depending on where they are going that. If they win the FA Cup, maybe then that would for them, they got to be at least top 2 in the league, win the FA Cup or Carabao Cup, which is the domestic cups for England, and then at least the quarterfinals for Champions League.
We're looking back at it for the last 5 years, Man City since 2013-14 until present day, they've won the league 3 times, back-to-back years with Pep. But my biggest knock on Pep has always been, even going back to the Bayern days, is the coming up short in the Champions League. And I think that's a big thing. I think Manchester City, they've shown that they can win the Premier League. They've done it 3 times in the last 5 years. But can they win? And that's the thing with Pep is, can he win a Champions League away from Barca?
Yeah, I was about to say away from Barca.
Right.
I see.
He's come close.
Bayern was more competitive with Pep as their coach. Yeah, Yupp took them far, and Ancelotti took them far, but I think Pep took them to a semifinals against Madrid as well. So, and Bayern always just seemed to struggle against Madrid. I think I mentioned it before on the podcast, but yeah, I think to stamp his really obviously he's going to leave a legacy as a manager. He's clearly talented and has performed in multiple leagues with multiple teams. But I think that second Champions League victory with another team would kind of cement him as one of the greats in managing. But
it's almost like when he gets into the middle of his contract to the end of the contract, it's like a panic, or he's trying to find the exit. You know what I mean? When I feel like every time he gets towards the end, he's just I don't know if the players are just done with them or they just can't take the intensity, because it is intense to play with Pep, because he expects so much out of his players, and he loves his players a lot. But there are some players in this world who cannot continue on with the intensity. Look at the basketball analogy would be like Golden State. They go through that 5-year run where they're just winning all the time, and you're playing multiple games. And Same thing with Liverpool. I mean, this might happen with Liverpool in the future
With
now
Klopp.
that they're playing deeper. If they're playing they're playing Premier League, Champions League, and then the FIBA World Cup or the Club World Cup. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And then they have to play, the FA Cup. So you're playing in they're trying to win 4 leagues. Like, it's going to end up taking a toll. And thankfully for Liverpool, they have younger players than Man City does.
Yeah. I kind of lost my point. I forgot what I was going to say.
All right, well, we'll move on. So,
Yeah.
Premier League-
hold
okay,
on, I
well, okay,
remembered it.
okay. What
Thank
you got?
I had to think back through what we were saying. I think over time, managers' message just gets stale. Like, managers' message of how they want to play and, like, the style that they want to play. Like, the style may still work and be effective, but maybe their message or the way they get players motivated might just become stale, and, like, the players not respond as they used to in, like, year 1 through, like, 3. If they're in, like, season 5, 6, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you just may see the players like, yeah, we've heard that already.
Right.
Kind of thing.
Need like a new shake up a little bit. Maybe that's what Spurs need.
And it really, and I think in football, like, especially, or soccer, whatever you want to call it. But
yeah.
in football especially, managers have very short leashes and are subject to change at pretty much any time. So they can, like, if you're not, like, if players aren't responding to what you're doing, then you might just be gone. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. Staying with the Premier League, it's a third of the way. We're on the international break, excuse me. So I got a couple rapid fire questions that we both can look at. You go first. Who has been the best team up to this point in the Premier League?
I mean, by far and away, Liverpool, pretty much easy. I think they won, like, 23 straight matches with going undefeated across, like, all competitions or something like that. It was crazy.
They haven't lost in Premier League yet.
Yeah.
One draw. I can't. What do you think they'll finish the season without any losses in the Premier League? Because I can't think of anybody that can. If Man City couldn't go in there with Silva before, little FA not banning Silva before that match, they kept him and then they banned him after the match. You hear about that?
Yeah, I did actually.
Yeah. So if Man City, I mean, let's be real, Liverpool beat up Man City pretty bad. They beat the wheels off them.
Yeah, they did get the one goal, but Liverpool controlled the play.
Oh yeah. So I mean, I can't think of a team that can contest Liverpool.
I mean,
but it's gonna be, if they want to have, like I said before, if they want to have that they're in 4 competitions and they're playing and trying to win everything, I think that's gonna be, you might slip up.
It is tough. It is tough on that.
Lose.
I think they would be the first
losing
team
that many
since
points.
the Arsenal Invincibles, I believe, to do that. And I think that team had, like, Henry. That was the Henry era at Arsenal.
So my best team has been Liverpool. I think
By
everybody's
far
best
and
team has
away.
been Liverpool.
Yeah.
Second question: who's been the best player up to this point in the Premier League?
I'm gonna go.
Very hard. There's been a. I mean, it's just, when you look at the stats,
But
it's all Liverpool. It's like anybody from Liverpool, you can be like, you can check mark them like, yep.
I've shuffled through a few in my head. I think I'm gonna save one for I think a later question, but I'm gonna go with. This is kind of basic, but I'm gonna go with Virgil van Dijk. He's literally. I think he's the best center back in the world right now. Plain and simple. I think he might win. Like, he won. I think he won an award for, like, Player of the Year or something.
I think he did for the. Did he win it for for the UEFA?
I think it was for UEFA. I'm not sure which award it was, but he won a Player of the Year award for something.
I think he did.
It was
UEFA
between him and N'Golo Kante for me, but I would say Virgil van Dijk.
I'm gonna say Ndidi for Leicester City. I think he's been like the sleeper player, but
That's solid. I think, are we going to? I thought you were gonna ask about, like, a surprise player or something like that.
Oh yeah.
That's why I saved mine.
Okay, well, I'm going to say, I was overthinking this. I think we go Van Dijk as well. I mean, Van Dijk is he's a monster.
Mm-hmm.
He does everything. He's almost like a utility player that can play every role. He's fast, he's strong, he can pass well, he can defend well because he's a center back, he's strong.
He's a ball hawk in the box.
He's completed the most passes in the Premier League, but 902 up to this point, which is ridiculous. Yeah. The most who's been your surprise player? I guess would be
from the same team as Ndidi. I would say Jamie Vardy.
Yeah.
For me, I think he still leads the league in goals.
11.
Yeah, and it's not that we didn't know who Jamie Vardy was, but I think just how much of a resurgence he's had. Like, he was still consistent, but he wasn't like, this is his form from 15-16, let's say. So that surprised me. I thought he would stay at his new like his level playing field,
his
where
plateau.
He wasn't like on that record pace. Like, he wasn't like playing amazing, scoring in like 6 straight games or whatever it was that he did in 15-16. But maybe it was 8 games, but
he did. I think he did set a record for that. It was like something. I want to say
6
like
or 8
9
games.
to 13.
It might have been something crazy like that.
Yeah.
But anyways, he obviously, like, that was a career year for him, and then he was a very good, very solid striker that pretty much any Premier League team would want, at least on the bench. So, but then coming back to this 15-16 form, like I said, I feel it was just surprising for me. I didn't think he was going to have that jump back up in quality.
See, I want to say Ndidi, but he's when I looked at the numbers and writing about him, I just looked at the numbers, and he's been the top leading interceptor in the Premier League, or 1 or 2 since he's been at Leicester, which I find insane.
Conte has to be number 2 then, because Conte's a ball hawk, like a ball magnet in the middle of the field.
But I'm going to go to a guy. I've been critical of him. I really have on this podcast. He's really surprised me. Christian Pulisic has actually surprised me this year.
Oh, yeah, that's a
fair one. I think that's a fair one.
That is a good shout. First year in the Prem.
9 appearances, 5 goals. He's been benched.
Does he have any assists? I don't know.
I'll pull that up. He's got 2 assists. Okay, so 9 appearances, 5 goals, 2 assists.
And that's only in Prem.
Right. I mean, we said earlier in the podcast, I kept saying, is Christian Pulisic even play soccer anymore? I was very critical of him. Now
that's kind of when it flipped, to be honest. Yeah.
So, Christian, if you listen to this and you turned it on, dude, you can shove it in my face. But the whole him and Lampard clashing heads and Lampard picking up the younger, British players, which it's not a surprise for me. I feel like players or managers that associate with a certain nationality will favor those players. If you look back to the Klinsmann era of U.S. men's national team soccer, everybody was on his case about him picking dual national players that were German Americans. So I can't hold it against managers like that, because that's just I'm not in the mind.
It's their inclination.
Right. But for Christian Pulisic, to come from Dortmund, leaving a role which I think a lot of us probably wouldn't expect him to leave, because Dortmund is in a good situation, in my opinion. But with Sancho playing the way he plays, I can see why Christian Pulisic's like, okay, I want to take the next leap, because he goes from USA to Germany, gets success there, builds a name for him. Now he's basically the main man for the men's team, and he's like, okay, let's take the next challenge. Let's go to the Premier League, which I think, and I think you would agree with me, is a challenging league. It's the
best league in the world.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's fought through that adversity, and he's, quote unquote, had his, he's been taking his time and doing what anything's been asked of him. And for him to have 9 appearances with 5 goals, I feel like that's huge for him, and I feel like he's going to grow up. I think he can probably end the Premier League with at least 15 goals.
Wow.
15 total. Let's say 15 total.
15 total, points?
Or goals and assists. Right now he's at 7.
Yeah.
I think that's reasonable.
No, yeah. I thought, I was like 15 goals. I was like, yo, that is a lot. You're expecting this man to play that a lot. But, yeah, 15 total, points, goals, and assists. Yeah, I would say that's a good target. I think if he gets consistent play time, he could stretch out to 20 if he stays on form.
Right. All right, last question. Who's been your underwhelming team of the year? There's been a lot of them.
I'm hoping Tottenham comes out of whatever they're in right now. But I think even though they're ahead of them in the standings, I think United has been the most disappointing.
I can't believe you took mine. I can't believe we're just on the same level now. I think Manchester United should go out and get Pochettino. I think they need to sack Oh, I can't pronounce his name.
Solskjaer.
Yeah, and they need to sack him.
Solskjaer, something like that.
But I think another thing is that we've been accustomed to Manchester City over the last decade, or not really the last decade, but the past decade, from the early 2000s to the 2010s, I guess you would call it, and just expecting dominance and win after win. And
from United or City?
Yeah, from United. United.
Yeah, from United.
And you're in an era now where it's the gray area, where there's been 4 to 5 managers after Sir Alex Ferguson. I think this is what Manchester United's going to be moving forward. I don't think they're going to be that team that was the late time scoring goals with, players like Rooney.
They really haven't been the same since Sir Alex left.
Right, and I think that's a very fair criticism, and I think you're seeing it now where this is what Manchester United is when you don't have a all-time great manager like Sir Alex Ferguson. You can even argue that the players that have ever or since Sir Alexson resigned, that the talent of players coming in for Man United has been better than what he had during his time.
But I think what he did is he grew players from within a lot better, like Rooney and Giggs and Scholes, something like that.
Carlos Tevez.
Yeah.
But I mean, think about the players that they've hit and missed on. Like Falcao, missed on. Di Maria, missed on.
They didn't play well on that team.
Right. Alexis Sanchez is the latest example. Look at Memphis Depay.
Yeah.
Memphis Depay is now tearing it up. I feel they got the best out of Ibra. I think Ibra did all he could.
Under Herrera. No, that was Juan Mata has been he was way better for Chelsea.
And I don't know.
And look at the players they grown from within. I know they acquired Martial, but basically they acquired him when he was very young. I think like 19. So
yeah.
He's grown into that role, and I would say he's one of their better players. Rashford as well, grown from within. So
I just feel for Pogba. I don't know why Pogba went back. He should have just stayed with Juventus. I'm a Juventus fan. I'm always gonna love Pogba, but I just feel bad for him. But
yeah, and if you want to question us and saying, oh, we think Man United has had the most disappointing or lackluster, and you're like, oh, well, Tottenham's 14th in the table. If you look at the table, but the distance between 5th, Sheffield United, and Tottenham in 14th is 3 points. The difference between 5th and 14th is 3 points. So I would say United and Tottenham are both having an equally bad season. Like Tottenham is 1 win away from passing United, who's 7 spots ahead of them. So it's disappointing either way.
All right.
Which makes the race for Europa League qualification in 5th and 6th very interesting, with all those teams, like 8 teams possibly vying for those 2 spots. I'm assuming most will fall off at some point, but you're still looking at probably like 4 or 5 teams vying for those last 2 spots.
Hey, but I'm not giving up on Leicester City. Jamie Vardy keeps scoring goals, and Ndidi keep being.
They could go back to the Champions League.
Yeah, I think they. I was when I was writing about them, they went to the quarter. They went to the semis, or the quarters. I think they went to the round of 16, or they went to quarters one year.
Round of 16.
Round of 16, and then they lost. I think I forget who it was.
I think it was round of 16 that year. They lost in 16-17.
Yeah. You can never, ever count people out. Never underestimate the team, the Foxes.
All right. Well, I think that's where we're going to wrap it for football talk. I think we're going to move
Any
on.
UEFA or Euro 2020, real quick? A
few teams have started to qualify. I think Finland, for the first time in a long time, qualified.
83 years Finland made it. They have qualified for the Euro 2020 league.
Teemu Pukki. I don't know if you know who that is.
Hey, he's a striker for Norwich City.
Yeah, Teemu Pukki. What a god.
I love his name, Teemu.
Yeah.
My 2 big...
Almost like a hockey reference here, by the way. Teemu Solani is I don't know if he's in the Hall of Fame yet, but he was a very good hockey player for the Anaheim Ducks and Winnipeg Jets, I believe.
My 2 takeaways, quickly. We don't have to be on this for a while. Italy, they've made it.
Oh, yeah, I would hope so.
Hey, they missed the World Cup.
Yeah,
another team that missed the World Cup.
Euros is different.
Another team that missed the World Cup. Netherlands, that team looks scary. Depay, De Jong,
Van
Dijk,
Wijnaldum.
Yeah, Wijnaldum, Promes,
Dumfries.
or Promes.
Yeah, Promes. Malin.
I like
Teams
that.
looking
That
good.
Netherlands team is going to be good. I think they're going to be a force to reckon with that World Cup. I feel like they're in another golden age after moving off from the big three of Snyder,
I think
Van Persie.
you could see them in a semis this year or next year in the summer.
And I hope that Zaza will never, ever take a penalty kick.
Again.
I will
Yes,
never
sir.
forget that. I
Yes,
forgot that it was
sir.
against Germany.
That was against Germany. He danced all the way up to it with his little tippy-tappy steps and skied it.
I was sitting there in my grandparents' house
got,
watching it.
He got subbed on in the 120th minute just to take that penalty.
I was watching it, and my brother, who knows nothing about soccer, he's like, so he's one of those people like, why is he doing this? Why is he on his tiptoes? I'm like, well, that's just something to throw off the keeper and just trying to make it. You're trying to catch the keeper off guard.
You're trying to make a move early.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's doing it. My brother's like, why? Just go kick the ball. I'm like, just watch. And he goes, and he just skies, and I'm like, oh my goodness.
I'll never do that. I'm one of those people. I'll just pick my corner and shoot.
That's like kind of up there with like J.R. Smith not shooting the ball in the finals, the game one of the finals. That's like you're gonna be like
the meme.
Zaza is gonna be remembered for that, and it's so bad.
Yeah.
I feel bad for him. Carl, where do you want to move on to next? NBA talk. I guess that's kind of the Euro. Because on Monday we're gonna have a podcast for Champions League. We're gonna save that juicy content for the next episode.
Yeah, a little preview. Right
little preview of coming back to Champions League. But let's talk about the NBA, Carl. What's standing out to you? A couple games in, the Celtics look nice.
What are we? Anywhere from 13, 14 games in?
14 games in. Lakers at 12-2.
Yeah. Surprising me. I said that they were going to get fourth, I think, in the season prediction.
The injury bug has not hit them yet, though.
You're right. That could very well happen.
And
your Kings bouncing back. They're 6 and 7.
Hey, if they're gonna give up the 9th seed for us, we'll take it. We'll take the 9th seed. We'll have the terrible start. 2 games in a row. We knocked off the Boston Celtics, and we beat the Suns last night.
Hornets are in 8th seed right now.
Look at that.
They won 2 games in a row on game-winning shots in the last second.
That Graham 3 over Kyrie, was it?
No, it was against the Knicks. That one. He hit that shot against the Knicks. I don't know.
He was over Frank. That's right. Over Frank. And I was
Nicola.
A lot of people are not high on Frank Nicolina.
Nicola?
I mean, let's be real. It's the New York fucking Knicks, okay? Yeah. I know I just said the F word, but the Knicks...
Well, you didn't have to say that. You could have just bleeped it.
The Knicks, they're garbage. The Knicks are the most mediocre team in all of professional sports.
They're not mediocre. They're bad.
It's bad. It's very, very bad. That's what Stephen A. Smith would say. Stephen A. Smith literally made a meme of himself by sitting there looking over the bay or whatever that ESPN studio is at after the Knicks didn't get the first pick. And that's another headline that a lot of people aren't talking about. Zion, it was like we were so sold on Zion like being the next NBA star. I talked highly of him like everybody else did. Hasn't played a game yet.
Yeah.
Like, I don't I mean, RJ Barrett's balling out. I mean, once again, he's on the Knicks. Who else is on the Knicks that's worth a damn? Taj Gibson? Sorry.
Julius Randle?
Sorry.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, you just look at...
I can't try and defend that.
That's right. I don't understand how, like, if you're a Knicks fan, it's because you've been born a Knicks fan, you're going to die a Knicks fan, and there's no in between. 2 shocking things in the West. Obviously, Golden State with the injuries and everything. I think they lost their last 6 games or something like that. They won last night. They're on a 1-game winning streak. Oh, okay. 3-12, the Warriors. Did you see that clip of when Steph Curry's face after they airballed the 3? Yeah. It's like, wow, it's not like I'm out there shooting. That just sums it up of how the season's going. And then right above them, in second last, Portland. Oh, my goodness. The team I freaking picked to be second. But, hey, you got to take a risk. And then now it's Melo. Melo's playing. Oh my God. Melo. Dude, as soon as he picked 00, get out of here. Anyone who wears 00, I'm not with it. I think Enes Kanter wore 00 when he played for somebody. I forgot. I don't like Enes Kanter at all.
But Melo, bro, 0-0. Really?
He had the cheesy Instagram post for it too. Like
No, I don't even want to know.
I had to pull it up, but
Melo had that first three. He's like banging the three against his head. Like, bro, come off it. Like,
I can't stand Melo. And everybody's like, "Oh, he's a Hall of Famer and everything like that."
He might be a Hall of Famer. Yeah.
So this was posted on his Instagram.
But like,
1 day ago. So this is the reason why he chose number 99 or 0 or 00. It says, quote, "A number greater than any assignable quantity or countable.
right.
Number symbol infinity.
Right. I might just get up and leave.
Without end, process that never stops, can never be given an exact value." Let's go down. The mysticism of our past and impossibility for an eternal future given the infinity symbol a sense of awe and wonder. It's like not like an actual like. But then he tweet. Okay, so that's like in the actual post, and then so the hashtag on the actual like the photo he posted says hashtag stay mellow with the L being a 7, and then in the comments on his thing it says I will always be, and then like emoji 7 007 grateful stay mellow.
Did he? Oh my God. Can we just move on? I really don't want to
can't
talk
stand
about
Carmelo Anthony, dude. And I can't stand the Portland Trailblazers either. So you have CJ and Dame, great guards offensively. I think they've already hit their ceiling. Or, whatever you want to say, the roof. The ceiling is the roof.
You mean as players or as a team?
Last year's the best you're going to get from the both of them, I think. And then you add Carmelo Anthony.
I think there might be another half step for Dame.
You think so?
Like a half step, not like just another element that he could add to his game to make him better. Because if you think about it, like I see like Kemba's career arc, and like when I thought, all right, this is what he is, like
right.
This is his cap. He added to it, like maybe it wasn't like he added something new like to his game, but it was like his percentage from the free throw line went up, his percentage from 3 drastically went up, and he started putting more like moves into his game then because his 3-point percentage was going up. People couldn't just lag off on the pick and roll because they had to respect his 3, so that opened up the drive for him. So I feel like stuff like that could end up like little things that give him that extra half step that he can still grow.
I just don't like the Melo addition to the Trailblazers because, like I said, you got Dame and CJ who are just not the greatest defender, and CJ especially. Then you add Carmelo Anthony, this dude, time and time again, I'm not coming off the bench. Like, he won't. If Carmelo had them, I wouldn't mind Carmelo Anthony if he just understood that he is not LeBron James. LeBron James spends more money than we'll ever make in our life on just his body alone. Carmelo Anthony looks like a dude who can, like, have 12 wings done in, like, 5 minutes and have, like, 2 beers on it because he's a big guy. But if he used his body and he slimmed down and, took care of himself like he should have done during his career, he would still be in the league and won't have that year off. And like I said before on the radio show yesterday, there's a reason why he only played 10 games from the Rockets. He can't play defense. And I know people are saying, well, the Rockets don't play defense. It's like, well, not the Rockets.
The Rockets were a 3-and-D team. That's really what they were. Like, it was all threes.
I don't understand. Like, Carmelo Anthony, I think he shot 4-10 last night. I believe that the stats were right. But, like, still, Carmelo Anthony, he's washed. I'm sorry. I'm going to say he's washed.
They lost to the Pelicans last night.
Hey, Brandon Ingram's been balling out. That's a guy to watch. MIP maybe. Most improved player maybe.
He went 4 for 14. 2
Melo did?
Yeah, 2 for 3 from 3-point. 4 rebounds, 10 points, 5 fouls, no assists.
How long did he play for?
24 minutes. That was.
So he played for no reason. No, I'm kidding.
That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5th most. No, 6th. Because Kent Bazemore came off the bench and played more. He played 28.
I think something I need to come clean on the air.
But Lillard didn't play.
Yeah, he's been out back
spasms. Yeah.
How's the shot distribution going to go with that? With CJ, Dame, and then now you add Melo in the starting lineup?
Melo took the second most shots.
Oh, my goodness.
It was McCollum took 22.
Yeah.
Hood took 12. Simmons took 13. Or
Rodney Hood should not be
Simons
taking
or
12
Simmons?
shots a game.
I think it's Simmons. But it's only one of it. It might be Simons. He took 13. So those were the two that are right under Carmelo, who had 14.
So if let's say that the Portland's healthy and Dame's there, you think Melo's gonna be? So it has to be where he is like the third and below scorer. There's no way he's taking more shots than Dame and CJ. There's no way. Dame and CJ are better scorers in this modern day basketball, or in their team. They score better and they're more efficient. But I have to come clean on something. I wrote about it. No, I'm off the Trailblazers. I'm back on the Oregon Trail. I'm gone. I'm packing up and I'm heading out of Portland. I'm going down to Houston. I'm going to the Rockets. I was so wrong about the Houston Rockets. I thought the Houston Rockets, this Westbrook and Harden wouldn't work. I just figured out that Harden's just going to average 40. He doesn't care. He's going to just take 50 shots a game and just do what Harden does, and it's just score shots and make it look so easy.
I mean, the season is only 16 games in. Like there's still small sample size so far. Like, I'm still a little bit skeptical. And that's not me being like not accepting that they're like decent or whatever. I know they're off to a good start, obviously. But like in hindsight now, yeah, you can say, oh, I thought that they were going to be great the whole time or whatever. But yeah, I was with you in the camp where I was a skeptic. But the season is only 16 games in, so we'll see how it goes. But I mean, good for them. I think it's promising, but things can change very quickly.
So the Rockets are 11-3. He is averaging in the last 10 games. This is James Harden. He's played 36.5 minutes. He's shooting 44 from the field, 38.4 from the three, 84 from the free throw, with 6 rebounds, 7 assists, a steal, with 5 turnovers. And here's the stat that's shocking. He is averaging 40.2 points a game. In the season, he's averaging 39.
That's fantasy money right there.
This dude took on Saturday, the Rockets played the Timberwolves. He shot the ball. Hang on. It just messed up. Oh, no, I just lost it. Oh, no. Hang on, give me a second. Okay. So when they played the Timberwolves, he shot the ball 41 times, 16 of 41.
That's some Westbrook numbers, yo.
8 from 22 on 3-point percentage.
Yeah.
I mean, but the thing doesn't make sense because, 16 of 41, he took 41 shots, but he scored 49 points. So, like, does that kind of count? Like, does
it balances it out, in my opinion.
Oh, my goodness. I just really thought that this would be like Westbrook would come in here and just, like, ruin it. And it's just like, nah, Harden's just like, whatever, dude. I'm just going to average 40 points for the season. I don't care. I don't think he'll do it for the rest of the season, though. I don't think he has the. If he does that, that's just because he wants to get the MVP, and he's gonna be dead in the playoffs. Yeah, it's not even gonna be like his body, his arms are gonna be like just so hurt from taking shots.
Regular season different than the postseason,
and that's my knock on James Harden. I can't stand him in the postseason. Anything else you want to talk about in the NBA?
I'm good to head to start of the week unless you have anything else.
The only thing I can say is that I'm not surprised that the Lakers are number 1, but like we said earlier,
and
no injury bug yet.
Injury bug for the Clippers though. PG comes back and Kawhi's hurt, so it is what it is for them. They're 9-5. I'm sure they'll be fine, but yeah.
Hey, we said it. Regular season does not matter. It does matter for your seeding. Actually, I don't think the seeding even matters. If you're a good team,
I don't think home court really matters.
Oh yeah, no. So Carl,
we're gonna head to start of the week.
Yeah, Golden Star Week. Who do you got?
I have, and many people may not know who this is, but over the past year, I've gotten into watching Formula One racing, so F1, and this past weekend was the Brazilian Grand Prix. I think it was the second to last Grand Prix. The winner had already been wrapped up for the whole year, like who's going to win the Drivers' World Championship, Lewis Hamilton.
Oh.
And Mercedes had already won the best their best team award. Like they're gonna score the most points as a team, both their drivers put together. So that was already wrapped up, but it was still a very entertaining race. And Pierre Gasly, the driver for Scuderia Toro Rosso, or Red Bull Scuderia Toro Rosso, scored his first podium of his F1 racing career. this past weekend. He got second place after my favorite driver, Charles Leclerc, in the Ferrari, and the other Ferrari man, Sebastian Vettel, 4-time world champion, crashed with 6 laps to go because they were battling each other when they probably shouldn't have been. And that's just how it has been for Ferrari. But after that, there was a safety car, and Toro Rosso took advantage of the safety car, played the right strategy, and ended up with 2 laps to go. The safety car came back in, and he held on for second in the last 2 laps. So it was a great moment for him after earlier in the season being dropped by Red Bull, like the top team, because like Toro Rosso is like the sister or like feeder kind of team into Red Bull.
So Red Bull's like the top team.
Yeah, so Red Bull's like the 3rd best team. Mercedes is the best, and then Ferrari, and then Red Bull. But they're all very close. It's like the top 3 are really close, and then the midfield, and then Williams is the worst team. But like Toro Rosso is in the midfield. I think they're like 5th or 6th right now. But yeah, so they dropped him down to their feeder team kind of, and they brought up Alexander Albon from Toro Rosso to Red Bull. So it was really nice to see him get some validation and to say, hey, I'm still good in the sport. I'm still, like, it's kind of like a comeback story, especially for him. Like, he earned his spot at Red Bull for the start of the season, but that car is very catered toward their number 1 driver, Max Verstappen. So I think he's done a wonderful job going back to Toro Rosso. He's taken it, like, kind of taken it on the chin and just kept that chip on his shoulder. And I think held his head high and put in really good performances, even in a car that's a lot worse than the top cars on the grid. So maybe not a sport that a lot of people know about, but it was nice to see him get those points and get on that podium for the first time.
So I have just a quick question, like, 'cause I don't want to take over your segment. So like Mercedes, Red Bull, and then Ferrari, are there like any differences, or is it just they're just different teams that go against each other?
Well,
I know
everyone,
branding.
those 3 teams, they all, like, there's regulations obviously to building a car, but they all have their own, like, they make their own engine.
Okay.
All the teams make their own. Yeah, they build their own car basically, and each team makes their own model. Like they have like parameters that they fit in. But they try and make it like the most aerodynamic and have the most downforce in certain areas and stuff like that.
So. We're gonna get you on a podcast where you just talk about Formula One.
It's really interesting. Obviously that was the second to last race. The last race of the season is I think not this weekend coming up, but the next one in Abu Dhabi. So they go to a lot of really cool places for these races. Yeah. They just had the United States one the other week.
Did they go to the Nürburgring?
What?
They don't do Nürburgring, do they?
Where's that?
The Nürburgring, or is that Formula? What? Okay, so this is Formula One, right?
Yeah.
I always get IndyCar and Formula One mixed up because Formula One does not do the Indianapolis 500.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I know a little bit about racing, like tracks, because I know that the Nürburgring is like a famous track in Germany. It's like they do like 24-hour Le Mans, but I think
Formula One might race there. I know they race in Hockenheim. That's where it's the Hockenheim ring. That's where they race in Germany. But it's if you want to, like, if you find it maybe interesting or anything like that, I would watch the Netflix series Drive to Survive, F1 Drive to Survive. Very interesting. Gives you a lot of background on every team except for the top 2, which are Mercedes and Ferrari. But it gives you like kind of a lot of behind the scenes, a lot of storylines. Is how I learned to really like root and cheer for Charles Leclerc. He moved up from Alfa Romeo to Ferrari, so kind of like the feeder team into Ferrari, and that's how like I came to be like he came to be my favorite driver. It's very interesting. Gives you a lot of behind the scenes and kind of sees like how heated and like how much this sport means to everyone. And if you think about it, it's one of the most highly contentious sports there is. Like, you're putting your life on the line every race. Like in Belgium, the F2, so the feeder series for F1, a driver died on turn 3 in F2 racing. He ended up going into the wall and bounced off, and a car ran straight through the middle. So obviously very sad, but these drivers put their lives on the line, and there's only 20 that can be in the sport. Like, there's 20 seats, so only 20 people get to make it into Formula One, 20 drivers. So you have to be the best of the best, which is like so incredible that only 20 people get to do it. I think that is like it's so rare in that aspect. So that's another reason.
But
why
you don't watch like Le Mans or like I don't know the definition. Like, and it's like SP3 or SP3 where they run like BMWs.
Nah, I don't really watch that.
I can't get in that.
Formula E is kind of cool. It's like running with like battery powered cars, kind of like energy and like saving and stuff like that.
I've seen that.
A lot of drivers sometimes when they're done in F1 or will go to Formula E or like come back or whatever.
I have two. I got one mini one. The main Golden Star was everybody at WAC Radio, Philip Lindegard. I think I said his last name right. But Philip, if you listen to this, thank you for having me on the sports radio yesterday. It was fun. I learned a lot. And it's kind of weird. I mean, doing this was like prep for going on the radio for the sports show. Mm-hmm. And obviously, I'm not the biggest football guy. And like everything about App State is football. But going on there and like doing what we do, but having it broadcast live was like one of the best feelings I've ever had in my life. And just having the competitive, because with you and I, we kind of get along with most stuff. Like we don't really have like conflicting points. But like when I went out there and like we're talking about like,
it's fun to have an argument.
Yeah, it is. Like talking about Colin Kaepernick, and then like they shipped the Panthers on me, and I was like, dude, I think the Panthers should rebuild. Like I think the Panthers need to just quit the Ron Rivera era. And everybody started busting out laughing like, oh, that's how you make your first, sports rap appearance. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna call it how I see it. I think the Panthers are trash. They're 5-5. But just being on WC Radio is awesome. The sports rap is awesome. And I'm dressed up right now. You can't see it because I had a meeting today, but I overdressed for that. But I want to end with the second mini star of the day. It's really two of them, and it's Wijnaldum and De Jong. After Wijnaldum scored, him and De Jong went to the sideline, and they did a little gesture where they both showed their arms, and Wijnaldum pointed to his skin to De Jong. And if you don't know, Wijnaldum is a black Dutch person, and De Jong is a white guy, a white Dutch kid. And they just the little interaction between both of them showing like no to racism, and that it's just a skin color was awesome to see that. And it's sad to say, but like
there is
racism is extremely bad in soccer, and it's extremely bad in all sports,
especially in like UK, Europe. Like,
even Italy, that one's bad too. But
Serie A,
But I think that the whole Netherlands team would also kind of pull into that, because they're just trying to. They had like a post I shared with everybody. You sent me a message about it where they're just holding hands, and it's just like it's just soccer. It's skin color, it's just skin color. Yeah. And that racism is something that needs to be banished forever. And
they've had it on like the FIFA has really been pushing that, like say no to racism. They've been pushing that since like 2006, I believe. Like, they've been really, really pushing that, and it seems like it's even flared up more. Maybe it's just more publicized because of social media, but it's really flared up more, and it's really tough to see that like the sport you love, like, I mean, we already like the sport that I love at least, like it really like it already gets a bad rep with all the flopping and the stuff like that, and like people say like, oh, like all soccer players are weak and stuff like that, and then like. And then you have like the racism on top of that. Not that there isn't like people doing racist stuff in other sports.
Right.
Soccer is the main one in the world, so there's way more opportunity for it to happen.
Right.
It's sad to see. But yeah.
It sucks.
A little bit of a somber note, I think, to end on, but
let me end on a high note though.
Okay.
We're gonna have another episode coming out Monday, Tuesday. We're just gonna do a quick recap or predictions for Champions League. And then we're going to talk maybe a little bit of basketball. So 2 episodes in 2 weeks.
2 episodes in less than a week. Like 5 days apart,
2 episodes in a because we haven't.
We'll probably record on Monday, post on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So like 6 days apart.
Maybe Sunday. I don't know. Do the Jets have a primetime game?
No, they should never. I can't believe they beat Washington. I wanted them to lose.
I can't believe they beat the Cowboys.
That is hilarious.
But I'm gonna end it there. We're not having no more to talk about that.
Yeah. Don't let me get on your Cowboys.
Well, Carl, episode 6 in the books. Signing off. We'll see you for episode 7 next week.
See you guys.
I'm out for now.
Peace.